fingers.
Close to the camera.
Thank you,
See, look, see, he's 5 pounds right now.
We're here at the media day for the 2021 Bassmaster Classic on Ray Roberts.
This is a tank. Look at the size of this dude.
Progress we've made so far on our Hobie PA14. Got it wired up for 12 volt right now. We got the P127. That money!
That's a monster!
Got one. Took him long enough, didn't it? He knows.
You know that's your outro.
I know, but I mean, like, I was waiting on you because, like, you just kind of put me on the spot and it's like it didn't flow. Like,
Whatever. All right, guys. I want to thank y'all for tuning in to One Objective tonight. Guys, we got a good show lined up for y'all. We got us a special guest that's going to be joining us here shortly. But first off, I want to thank all of our sponsors that we got that help support this show. We're slowly starting to try to ramp back into doing these on a regular basis. And like I say, it might not be every Sunday, but we're working on, hopefully every Sunday soon here. But we got another one lined up for next Sunday too, and I'll expose that one or tell that one at the end of this show here. So, but other than that, guys, I want to thank our sponsors, Amped Outdoors. They have been a great company to work with. They have really helped support us this year. Last year, we've run them in our kayaks, we run them in our bass boats, and we trust them and sell them to all of our customers. A lot of our customers buy batteries from us. Actually, one of the guests that we have on, tonight, runs Amped as well, and he's like I say, they're just a good company to work with, and very their customer service is great, and they're trustworthy battery. You don't want it's nothing worse than getting out on the water and having issues with your batteries going down. You know what I mean? It's just aggravating. I understand wiring issues, this and that, which those suck as well, but you don't want your batteries to have issues while you're out there on the water. So also I want to thank Waterland Eyewear. I have fell in love with these glasses. I got them right here today. Look at that. I brought them today. Got the Bed Fishers right here. One of my favorite pair of sunglasses. For one, I like them because they got the vents here. It helps keep the glasses from fogging up and breathing easily, especially on the real hot days. But these right here, like the blue lens, perfect for seeing those bed and fish, or just like I say, you're just going down to bank and you're looking for cover. You can really see down there in the depths on with those things on good sunny days. So, but they got all kinds of different color lenses, different frames, but this is one of my favorite. And like I say, I've said in the other shows, they got some that are clear now. So I want to get me a pair of those as well. Early morning runs, and then also running around the lake at nighttime, got the gnats hitting you in the face,
Oh, yeah.
I'd much rather have them all stuck in my teeth than I would in my eyes when I get there to the next spot. So, but also want to thank Missile Baits. Which we're going to talk about that tonight too, because I do need to bring that up. Is the big bass tour that they had at Smithmount Lake the other weekend. We talked about it on the last show. We haven't done a show since then. Missile Baits jig, the Ike's mini flip, was one of the key baits for me catching most of my fish all weekend long. Granted, I only had one fish that I weighed in. I'll go into more details about this, but I only had one fish that I weighed in. Should have weighed in another one, but I didn't think it would do well. And then all of a sudden I looked and I'm like, crap, should have weighed that fish in. But anyways, but the Missiles the Ike's mini flip jig, paired with the little chunk, Ike's mini chunk, man, it was a deadly combination. They were eating. I caught a lot of fish on a jig up here at Smith that weekend. So I'm excited to get that video out there, because it's right many fish catches. It's just no giants, wasn't no big monsters, but had a good time. So, but I want to thank all those sponsors, man, that they help support us. Make sure you go to their website, or you can go to oneobjectivebf.com for the Missile Baits and Amped. Check out their products. They support us. Let's support them guys. So anyways, Chris, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty good.
I was just talking about before we got on the show, I like what you did to the room back there. I like the car background, and I just like it.
Yeah.
It screams Chris. You know what I mean? Cars.
Yeah.
Racing.
Can't afford the real ones like that, so we just buy the ones we put together, set them on a shelf.
Yeah, I can't afford the real ones, man. So, but no, I really like what you're doing with the place, man. Did y'all have a good time on vacation?
We did.
That's good. Did y'all get out and do any fishing? Y'all went down to the beach, right?
No, we went to Tennessee.
That's right. Y'all
Pigeon
went to
Forge.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, I seen just some of the pictures. It looked like y'all had a good time down there. So
Yeah, we had a pretty good time.
was it? And the weather wasn't too bad either, was it?
It was actually kind of hot some days, but it won't too awful bad though.
Yeah, that's right. Y'all went the same weekend we did the Oakley Big Bass.
Yeah.
I say not Oakley, but the Big Bass Tour. So,
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Cool. Well, I'm glad we were able to get on here and get this show going, and I appreciate you helping with this and taking your time out of your day to do this. So, but let's go ahead and first of all, I want to talk about the Bassmaster Elite Series. Are about to get 9. I'm gonna say just flat out sticks that are about to join the Elite Series. I guess all of them are going to take the invite. I don't know. I don't have all the list here, but I can tell you JT Tompkins. I can tell you Ben Milliken. It's a few other guys on there that were just freaking hammers, man. I mean, they just were on. And to be able to qualify the Elite Series this year, you have to fish all events.
Ugh.
And you had to fish. Well, I'm sorry, you didn't have to fish all events, but they took the top 9 out of points, and it was together. It wasn't for each region. It was all together. So basically you had to fish all of them to be able to qualify to have a chance at getting good points and all that stuff. So, I mean, it was the guys that they're getting in the Elite Series are the cream of the crop that come out of the Open Series. It ain't just going to be a guy that fished 1 or 2 Open Series, did really well and qualified. I mean, these guys travel all around the country just like they do in the Elite Series and hammered them. And JT Tompkins, that dude flat out hammered them. So congratulations to you, man, on winning Angler of the Year, because that's a feat in itself right there with a lot of them guys. Because you got a lot of locals you're fishing against too in those bodies of water. So it's tough. It's tough to qualify for that. So but good job to him. And we're hoping to maybe have a couple of them guys on the show here soon. But before we get much further in this show, let's go ahead and get our guest on. Let's go ahead and get Jason Hensley on with us.
What's up, guys?
What's going on, man?
How's it going?
Not too bad. With the man, the myth, the legend. We ain't had you on in a little while. Actually, I want to say last time we had you on was for the event that you just won this weekend, right? Was it last year? Didn't we have you on last
2021. So I might have been on sometime between then and there, but
maybe.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I just remember the tobacco that we had when that cat come across the table and had all them lures sitting down. We was talking about that for the show. So we were watching, we were talking about that cat coming and knocking your phone off and all that stuff. It was funny though. Jason Hensley fashion. That's what I'm gonna call it. Jason Hensley fashion. But how you doing, man? I know you had a fun weekend. You had a cold weekend. It's kind of rainy.
Yeah, it was a downpour quite a few times, and just a steady, not even just a hard, steady rain most of the day.
Yeah,
it had a couple little breaks, but yeah, by like I said, tournament started at 7, ended at 3:30, and I'd say by 10, 11 o'clock, I was completely soaked head to toe.
That's miserable. That is, especially sitting in a kayak. I don't know what it is about a bass boat compared to a kayak. I know when we fished several events. Well, the Bassmasters Classic, was it the championship on Chickamauga? I mean, man, I think it was the last day. It's the last day or the first day, one of the two. It just freaking dumped. You know what I mean? And it's like you couldn't. We went from one condition to the other where it was super cold and windy to it was a little bit warmer, but just dumping rain. And I'm just like, God dang, man. But like I say, it's miserable in a kayak just sitting there getting dumped on.
Right. Yeah, it was pretty bad. But it was actually warm in the morning, surprisingly. And I backed down on the ramp, unloaded my kayak, got it all ready to go, got in my truck, put it in gear to go pull up the ramp, and it starts raining right then. Like as soon as I got in the truck, put it in gear, that's when it started raining.
Yeah.
So I came back to the kayak, put my rain gear on, and waited for 7 o'clock so I could launch. And then like I said, for first, I don't know, hour and a half, it was just a hard mist, light rain type deal. And then, yeah, it just set in after that.
Yeah.
But luckily, there was no high wind or anything. It was just a slight little breeze with it. So if it would have been really windy, it would have been a lot worse.
Yeah, it just made the matters tougher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With your fishing and all that stuff.
And then it got cooler as the day went on. Even the water temp dropped a couple degrees. The rain was cold, the air was cold, and it was. But it helped. I mean, it didn't bother the fish; they're already wet.
Yeah, they don't care. I think a lot of times it makes them excited. They love to feed even more.
Yeah.
Certain times it does. So.
Yep.
But anyways, before we got the show going on here, I just want to bring this up. And a lot of you guys that are football fans and enjoy watching football, I just want to say today was the day of upsets. I mean, upsets. I mean, Jason, you're a 49ers fan. My son's a 49ers fan. I don't really say I'm a particular fan of any team. I just enjoy watching it. And, like, I'll pull for the 49ers because my son likes them, But most time when I'm watching a football game, I just have certain teams I pull for. I'm like, man, I really want to see them win. I want to see them win. Or I'm just not a big fan because –
But never the Cowboys.
Never the Cow. They are always on the losing side.
Yep.
And to be quite honest with you, I say the Redskins, but it's the Commanders. I'm always going to call them the Redskins. I've been rooting for them sometimes this year to win. I've never really been a big Redskins fan. I've never been part of that Redskins and Dallas hype. You know what I mean? I just like seeing them get beat. I love seeing Dallas get beat. That's my biggest thing. So, but to see the 49ers lose to the Browns and then watch the Eagles lose to the Jets, which from what I was understanding or heard, that's the first time in franchise history that they've beat the Eagles.
Yeah, I heard that. I had no idea, but that's a crazy stat.
Yeah.
As long as they've had a team that they've never beaten the Eagles.
Yeah. And I bet you, I know some Eagle fans. I've got some friends that are Eagle fans, and they're diehard. You know what I mean? They are diehard, and I just couldn't imagine what they're going through right now. But so, anyways, it was a great weekend for upset. So there's no undefeated team in NFL right now. So it's all flushed. Now everybody's just playing, So, but anyways, 49ers lost a few guys today. That kind of hurt them. So
yeah, I'm waiting to see injury reports on Debo and Christian McCaffrey, and
yeah,
we'll see what goes from there.
But my guy, all he had to do was kick a field goal, man.
Yep,
he's like that away. He's like that far away.
Yep, should have never come to that point though.
No, it shouldn't have. Not with the Browns. Anyways.
I mean, the Browns had a good defense. Of course, they said Dallas had a great, awesome defense too. But we did what we did to them and turn around and not play that well against Cleveland. So
yeah,
maybe we took them for granted a little bit. I don't know.
I think that's what happens with some of these teams. You just think about it in like rec, think about it in rec, or thinking about it in high school football, where they know these teams aren't doing really well, and they might let up a little bit. You know what I mean? Or just go in and already know they think you want it and don't play like they should. So, and I think that's what happens too with these guys in the NFL. I don't know.
Yeah, they get just a little behind and then they try to overplay and make more mistakes.
Yep. So, yeah, it's crazy. Just crazy, crazy weekend. If you guys are watching this on Facebook or YouTube, comment down below what you think about the upset weekend. Who you think's going to the Super Bowl? Who you think it's going to be this year? Think it's going to be the 49ers and the
49ers in Miami.
Yeah. I actually, that's what I said Miami definitely, and I was up in the air with the 49ers or the Eagles. You know what I mean? Like, because I know they play towards the end of this year, the regular season game, 49ers and the Eagles. So
yeah,
we'll see.
That's if, like I said, that's if we can stay healthy. That's if,
yeah,
that's the only thing.
But anyways, this is a fishing show. Let's get into fishing. Before we get into your tournament series, your tournament win, which congratulations on that, and bringing the trophy back to Virginia again. Love to see it. And not only that, you're one of our team guys. So when one of our team guys gets it done too, it's even better. So just super excited to see it come back to Virginia again. But let's talk about the Bassmaster Kayak series schedule that just came out. I'm liking what I'm seeing for the schedule. I know we've talked a little bit over group text that we're a part of, and was kind of naming off some dates that we liked and all that. But I don't know if you got the schedule right in front of you. But I mean, the 3 that I was really looking at for the season for next year, and it's not definite that I can fish these, but it's something we've definitely looked at, which was Lake Murray, Lake Gunnersville, and the Susky. That's kind of my 3. I don't think we're going to make that drive to Texas for Possum Kingdom, and I don't think we're going to make that drive to Louisiana for the Caddo Lake. And what is your thoughts on the schedule this year? Do you like it, or do you feel like maybe should have been some changes? Or
I think it's a pretty strong schedule. Going to Gunnersville in May instead of March is going to be interesting.
Yeah,
there's I don't know if I'm to say there's going to be bigger bags, or bigger limits, but we'll see. It's going to be interesting.
Well, I think frog bite might be really good.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Is it should play pretty good, in my wheelhouse with the frog fishing and stuff. I love it. I absolutely love frog fishing. So that was definitely on my radar. Hey, buddy.
He's coming to say hi again.
And so that one's, when we're there in March this year for the Bassmaster Kayak Series, pre-fishing, I actually was catching some on the frog. And I was hyped. I was ready. And then, we had the storms come in and temperatures and everything else. And it just messed that up completely. I didn't catch a single one on the frog in the 2 days of the tournament. But I really, want to get back there, and May would be a great time to do it.
And you did really good there too. I mean, you cashed to check it. Was it Gunnersville you cast to check out?
Yeah,
right?
I finished 9th.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah. I get Gunnersville, Hartwell, and all of them. Like, it's like a big blur, like a ball of like everything. Where we all room together and all that stuff. So, yeah, I think Gunnersville is gonna show on that one, because that was I struggled on that event. I could only get 3 fish a day. I couldn't, and during practice, like you said, I was on some decent fish. I was on a spinnerbait bite, and I wasn't on nothing that was going to win it, but I feel like I was on something that could have given me a good points today.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know, man. And then the tournament time hit, I catch a decent one on the first day, and then just some dinks, and then the second day I caught 4 dinks on that day, on the last day, and just couldn't get it together, man. It was a grind, but you did really well. Bob Bariski did really well.
Yeah, he had a great second day. I mean, first day he was in there, keeping himself alive.
Yeah.
And then the second day, he just went out there and had I think he had the best day out of everybody in the tournament on the second day.
What was that? What did he bring in that day? It was 90-some inches.
Mid 90s, I think.
Yeah. On chatterbait. Just freaking burn them up, man. That's awesome. I like seeing that, I just wish he would have had a better day ahead, because he was close to the money. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think he still got a check, didn't he? I mean, they paid out a few spots on that one. I can't remember how they did. He just didn't get to go up there in the top 10 for the award ceremony. I can't remember how that was. But anyways, what's that?
Yeah, looking at schedule, the same for me. Possum Kingdom and Caddo just too far away. It would eat up too much of my time vacation wise, and I just couldn't do that. But Murray, late February, that should be a good tournament too. Mm-hmm. I like fishing that time of year. It fits me as well. So hopefully that'll work out. And then, like you said, the only other one is the Susky. I've never been there before. I've never really fished river systems with a lot of current or anything.
Yeah.
So it's on my bucket list to do, and I've never caught a smallmouth over 3 pounds, so that's on my bucket list. But that'd be the place to go do it.
Man, the Bassmaster event just fished up there, and they just caught them, man. It just monster smallmouth, and it's phenomenal to see that fishery like it is. I mean, I'm pretty fortunate to live right here by the James River and New River and all that. I don't do good on New River, but I do really well on the James River. We catch some decent smallmouth there. You know, you can catch 5-pounders there. Seen 6-pounders caught. But to catch 3s and 4s, you can normally do that. I'm going to say easily, but there's a lot of them in there. You know what I mean? But when you watch them go to Susky, it's just like Susquehanna or whatever. Man, it's just so many big fish in there. So many big smallmouth.
Yeah, healthy.
Yeah. I mean, they're just thick footballs, you know? So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Murray, like say, I'm really looking forward to that event. I've always wanted to fish Murray, never had the opportunity to fish it. Excited to do that one. Hopefully we can, because like we've talked about fishing some BFLs next year as well, and all these dates are fitting just right so we can fish them into BFLs if we wanted to.
Oh, that's cool.
So but you know, what I want to see is where, and I know it won't get released until the Bassmasters Classic probably, but I want to know where the next Bassmasters Classic is going to be, because after we fished Hartwell and we all knew kind of where the Bassmasters Classic was going to be in Oklahoma, I just didn't really have a desire to even try to qualify for it anymore. You know what I mean? Because I knew I wasn't going to make that drive to Oklahoma.
Right. Yeah, I was about in the same boat.
Yeah.
On that one.
I think Hartwell was done. I was done after Hartwell.
Yeah. Kind of like, you know, I want to fish the whole series, start to finish, but like I said, some of them are just so far apart. It's 2 days travel to there, 2 days travel back. You know, then you put in for pre-fishing 2 or 3 days and time on the water, and you know, next thing you know, you're 2 weeks. So that's 4 weeks in just those 2 tournaments, basically.
Yeah.
So I said it on one of my comments before. You know, I can't go swimming in the pool, but I can go wading and hopefully make a splash every once in a while. So that's right. That's the plan.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I mean, and it is tough. I mean, like some of these events here, I mean, I might not get much practice time. You know what I mean? Like Lake Guntersville, depends on how everything goes. I might only get a day, something like that. You know, I mean, it's just got to see how it all works out and see how it all plays out. But like I say, Murray, Guntersville, and the Susky is going to be my main 3 that's going to be on the list. Whether I make them all or not, I don't know, you know, but and we'll kind of get into our season, a little bit of the tournaments that we had this year, but I want to kind of get into your win this weekend on a can be a stingy lake. It can be, yeah. I mean, if you look back when the Bassmasters was there, Bassmasters opened, it was stingy. Granted, that's a different time of the year. And Bugs has them well, most lakes has them times where they're just freaking hammering and then it just shuts off and they are super hard to find. And Bugs here lately has been on the decline, I'm going to say, compared to what it's been years ago. And I don't know what they need to do to make it better. I don't know if stocking F1 Tiger Bass is what needs to happen. I do know that they're starting to get the spots in there like they are at Guntersville.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that hurts it, you know, and it's just, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's just such a big lake that it would seem like it would be hard to believe that spots would kill it. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's more to it than what we're seeing. It's just, it's really hard to find those big bags. I mean, you used to be able to, you go to like 6-man, for instance, 18, 19, 20 pound bags, you know, to be up there in the top.
Right.
And then it was an average of anywhere, you know, you'd have that, it dropped down to 15 or 16 to 15. And then you got several in the 14 to 13. And then you got a pile of loads in the 10s, 11s, 12s. Now it just seems like it just drops off quick. Like it's 15 to 17 pounds for the lead. And then it just drops off, you know, like it's fishing tough. So you got guys down there like Tyler Trent and all them that hammer them all the time. I mean, that dude's just a stick on that freaking lake. He just can catch them.
He is. Him and Jason Houchins both.
Yeah. Yeah. They just stay with them. You know what I mean? And they know where to look. But you did really well down there. To not have no practice time, you kind of stuck to the game plan that you've done, I guess, last year. And
2021. So same area, exact same spot. And I found that spot years ago when I was first got my bass boat. You know, I used to fish in a club as a non-boater for a few years, and then I finally got a bass boat and went out to try to find my own water. and just happened to be come across that area, and I've been going back ever since because I've always caught fish there.
Yeah.
So it's just worked out.
Is that spot just like a series of points there, or is it just a cut?
It's actually just a huge flat in the back of a long creek.
Gotcha.
And spring and fall, it just loads up a bait. I don't know what it is. I mean, there's a little ditch that runs through it. It's only at the deepest, it's 5 foot, and just about all the fish I catch are in about the 2 to 3 foot range.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's just a tiny little ditch that runs through it. But I mean, it's about the size of 2 football fields.
And you
So
just fan casting it, or
yeah, just fan cast it, making circles, and then kind of just crisscrossing back and forth with the kayak.
Yeah.
And chasing bait balls. I mean, even when it was raining, the bait was still popping the top. You could see them, and you could see actually the bait. You could see the bait balls. You know what? Even with the rain coming in and stuff, and I was just chasing bait balls. And I'd harass one for a little bit, and then go over to the other one, give that one time to settle down or whatever. And I just did that the whole day.
Just knocked them out the park, man.
I mean, history, in 2021, and it's always like this. It's just when you catch that area is what size fish is going to be there. I mean, you can go back there sometimes and it might be 10 to 14-inch fish just loaded. And then other days, it could be 16, 17, 18, 20-inch fish. And that's how it was, fortunately, yesterday. Where in 2021, it was the 14, 15-inch fish. And, there were a lot of sand bass, the stiffback perch, white bass mixed in with them. And I caught several of those. I only caught 2 short fish during the day, and they were about 10 inches long or so. But
I mean, did it happen when you put in and you got to that spot? Did it happen quick for you? I mean, was it bam, 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 or did you have to? It was
about, I'd say within the first 10 minutes, I got my first fish, and then the next 2 I caught almost pretty close to each other. And the second 2 was the 18. I think I had an 18 and 3/4 and a 20-incher for my first 3 fish. And then my next 2 was like a 15 and a 17 and change. And then a little later in the day, I cold the 15 with a 17. And then I cold the 16 with a 17 and a half. I think.
God dang. I mean, when you catch those 2 big fish like that, and then you're already starting your limit good. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What do you do to calm yourself down with that? Because I know for me, when you start getting that adrenaline, when you start getting that, I'm on the right fish, holy crap, here we go. It's hard to calm down, man. Yeah, when I got that third one, that 20-incher, and I think it was about 9 o'clock by that point. And I don't know, it might have been a little earlier, but I just look at the time like, we got plenty of time. Bait's still here. Every once in a while you can see the bait, flying over here with the fish chasing them and stuff. And I'm, pretty comfortable to, I'm going to get 2. They might not be the biggest size, but I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be able to fill my limit. And then, once I did, that was just laid back and casting after that and just fishing. Yeah. So, just enjoying it and having fun. And I know, man, like when you, even at a club, like a small club event, which, the Battle on the Border is a pretty decent sized event. I mean, you got a lot of good guys from North Carolina and Virginia that they come and fish this thing every year. And I really wanted to fish it, and I'm glad now that I didn't with all the pouring down rain. Not to be a fair weather fisherman on this one, I'm just saying. I think it actually, I think they had 39 anglers this time. Yeah. And I think the weather kept, because usually it is a little bit bigger of a field. I'm pretty sure the weather kept quite a few people away. Yeah. Yeah, they didn't want to get out there and tackle that day because it was calling for a lot of rain. So, but yeah, I mean, it is a struggle though when you get out there and you just catch them so quick, and then you're like, this day will never end because you already know that you got a good, especially if you got a really good bag right off. Now, if you got to know you got to cull up through the day, then it feels like it's flying. You know what I mean? Right. Or if you only got 3 and trying to get 2 more, but I know when you get that last one in, man, it is just like adrenaline,
Yeah.
straight adrenaline.
Yeah, if I would have had a limit of 12 to 14 inches, I would have been, just nervous. I'd been feeling crazy, and I'd been casting, and would have probably rushed some stuff and maybe did some stuff wrong. But
Yeah.
I had some decent ones, so I just relaxed and had fun.
Now let's kind of get into your baits a little bit. You throw underspin a lot. Like that's
I do.
I've been around you and fished around you a lot. I know you throw underspin a lot,
Yep.
and that was a big deal for you down there. Was there any other baits that was player, or is it just that? I mean, was that the main?
That's the only thing I could get bit on. I threw a finesse Alabama rig, the Shane's Baits finesse Alabama rig with a small Kitex on it. I threw a spinner bait, jerk bait, square bill, rattle trap, which the only thing I did catch a couple on rattle trap, couple short ones, and then some of those white bass. But I even threw the trick shad from bull shad. The
like a little glide
I
bait.
can't even the glide bait. Yeah, I couldn't even think of it. So I threw that for a little while too, and just couldn't get anything. And that was after I caught those 3. So I was just trying to mix some stuff up, show them something different, and couldn't get any bites whatsoever. And
Yeah.
as soon as I picked the underspin back up, man, I just started catching them again. Started getting bit consistently.
So I wonder what it is with the underspin over like a spinner bait, for instance, that really gets him to fire up on that compared to like a spinner bait. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it works. I don't know whether it's got to do with the skirt or the extra blade, or I'm not sure.
Because for the underspin, especially
But
if you're
it's-
fishing like 2 to 3 foot of water, I mean, are you just dredging the bottom with it? I
I'm
mean,
making sure it's hitting the bottom, and sometimes I'll reel just straight through the, not even stopping, just a steady reel straight through the bait ball. And then other times when I get to the bait ball, I'll give it a snap and make the bait scatter,
mhm.
and then just slowly start reeling it in again. And a lot of times they'll hit it right then too.
Yeah. So I think that's a lot of it too. You know what I mean? Like a spinner bait,
Yeah.
you figure underspin is a little more compact, a lot more compact than what a spinner bait is. And the size of an underspin, just the bulkiness of it, you know what I mean? For like if
Right.
you're just on like a Kitech or whatever other swim bait you want to throw on there. But I think that's probably key. And that's something I need to put in my hands more. But like say, I've been out there and I know just fishing a tournament with you or pre-fishing or something, and you're like, man, I caught them all on underspin. And I'm like, God dang, I threw a spinner bait all day and I didn't even touch that thing.
Yeah.
And you never think of that stuff when you're on the water on the fly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When I finished 4th at Chickamauga, I think that was 2021 too,
Mhm.
if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. I was throwing the underspin, spin
Yeah.
there as well. But so what I normally do, I fish it deep too. It's also a great thing in the summertime, not just fall or spring or fall, but during the fall, if I'm fishing shallow, I'm throwing a 1/4 ounce head with either the 3.3 or the 3.8 Kitech swimmer. And then in the summertime, I'll have a 1/2 ounce tied on with the 3.8 or the 4, I think it's a 4-inch magic swimmer tied on. And it's a great bait, throw back behind a Texas rig worm or Carolina rig or anything else that you're throwing out there. Deep diving crankbaits is just something else to give them a look at, and you get a lot of big bites on it.
Yeah. And that's just, I don't know. That's just really cool. That worked out for you. And I just know I need to keep that in my hand. So when it comes down to rod and line setup, what are you throwing? What's your rod setup for that? Is it more like a spinnerbait setup rod, or do you go a little softer or stiffer with that rod?
What I really use is the Cashin chatterbait rod, the Icon chatterbait rod, and it actually has the perfect action for that underspin, because it allows it to load up, and then you just sit the hook, and it has the perfect power to keep them pinned, to bury the hook and to keep them pinned as well.
Yeah. Now
So that's been my rod of choice.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to line, what are you throwing with that?
I'm throwing 17 pound with the quarter ounce head. I'm throwing 17 pound K940 on that. And if I go up, to a 3/8 head or a half ounce head, I'll go to 20 pound line for that.
I got you.
But I usually use a 17 because once you put the trailer on there, it's going to bump up the weight and stuff. So I don't like to go below 17.
Yeah. Now I've seen guys do different tricks when it comes to, and I don't know if you do this or not. I just wanted to ask, when you're throwing a Kitech on there, you can turn that bait upside down or you can do it the other way, normal way. Do you do any of that to try to keep it down on the bottom more, or do you just kind of run it the same regular way?
I run it the same. I always run it the same. I rig it, the way the top side up always. I actually got one here. So that's the fish head brand underspin that's a 3.3 Kitech trailer.
Yeah.
On there with the white and the call it the sight flash. So it's got the white on top. Sorry. Then the silver on the bottom.
So it matches the hatch, man. I mean, that's a good looking color.
And the bait I was throwing around was actually probably from the tail to the bend of the hook. That's about how long the bait was. And put my finger just so you can see, it's a very small bait.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
when they ate it, they choked it, and they.
Yeah, I seen someone pick Chris. I don't know if you're there. I don't know if I put them in any of the pictures or not. If you can, pull them up there. But here's some of the ones with Jason. Some of the fish he caught. There's that trophy. Brought that back to Virginia. I can't remember if I put the picture in there or not. There we go.
There it is.
I mean, just choked it, man.
Yeah, just about all of them had it that deep or about half that deep.
Yeah. Golly. Yeah, that's when that's the right bait. You know what I mean? Like that's when they're that's the same thing with crankbaits, all that stuff, swim baits, which that's basically what you're throwing just with a underspin. But when they're choking it like that, you're throwing the right bait.
Yeah.
And I've had them do that like with jerk baits and crankbaits, man, where they'll choke it. I mean, you damn near kill them. You know what I mean? Trying to get the hooks out. When they eat it like that, it's just crazy how they can grab that fully in their mouth like that. So,
and with that, I'm, ratio on a reel. I don't see what would really matter. It's just getting that retrieve right. But I mean, I use the Daiwa Tatula 7.3, and it's just a steady reel. I mean, I'm not burning it.
Yeah.
And actually, if you burn it, it does stay upright too, so that helps.
Also, turn on its side or nothing like that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So unless if it's got a rip, if it's been on there for a while and it's got a rip on one side or the other, it'll tend to float to one side or the other. So just making sure you got a fresh bait on there.
Now, do you glue your Kitechs on?
I do not.
You don't do them?
No, it takes time. I just put it on and throw it. Same with Cincos and stuff. I mean, I just put it on and throw it.
Yeah. Most of the time, if I'm just throwing a swim bait, that's what I do. You know what I mean? If I'm just putting one of those on a head and throwing it, when I throw in an Alabama rig or something like that, I glue them all on because I get so daggone aggravated when I throw it out there and it comes back like one of them's jacked. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you put it in a tight, good spot, and you come and bring it back. But no, that's good information, man. And like say, I mean, congratulations to you first of all, because like I say, to go in with no practice, just kind of going off what a lot of guys don't like going off past history, but there's times that, especially if you know the lake well, past history is a good starter point. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, that's what I rely on a lot.
Yeah.
If I've been there before, that's what I go to initially, and then pre-fishing or otherwise, I can expand off of that. But if it's just a one-day tournament, then I'm going to go strictly on history on that one. And the water level showing up, they said it was 2 foot below, but it seemed like it was it might have been more than that because it was a lot shallower back there than it had been before.
Yeah.
So
when
that water's up in that area, oh man, it's on fire.
Yeah.
And throwing spinner bait or other baits back in there, and there's bushes and stumps. There's stumps all throughout that area too. There used to be before I think they killed them off years ago, but there used to be big lily pads that would come up back there.
Oh,
And
really?
I haven't seen those in several years though.
Well, for one, I think they're changing. I think bugs used to be 300 was normal for that, or 297 or something like that. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, 300 is a normal pool.
Yeah,
and they had it listed going in tournament. They had it listed at 297.9.
And then somebody I talked to was saying that 297 might be the new normal pool now, because where Bugs Island, I mean Gaston stays so full now that, and they always got to keep water current going. You know what I mean? So like, way it's sounding from when I was talking to somebody on how true it is that 297 might be the new normal pool, but that lake is on fire when it gets into that 302, 303 in the spring when it's in the bushes. Oh gosh, man, I love that lake. It can be really tough too because it gets really high and then fish will get so far back in them bushes.
Yeah, you can't get to them.
Yeah. And I mean, you'll hear them back there just jumping or hitting frogs or hitting whatever back there, and it is tough. But you do everything you can to get a bass boat or a kayak back there, and pretty soon you're all hung up. You can't about can't get out of there. So, but no, I love that lake. But this time of the year is when they start doing the winter drawdown. So I think y'all hit it just right, because I believe if you would have had another week, 2 weeks, it'd have been a lot shallower back here. You know what I mean? It might have been tough.
Yeah. I was a little worried about that, going into it. But when I got back there, it made me feel good that there was enough water to, hold the bait and the fish.
Yeah.
That was one of my concerns.
What would have been your game? I ain't saying you got to save the spot, but what would have been plan B if that didn't work out? Did you already have something else where like, I'm going to have to load up, or was there something nearby that you could have fished?
No, it'd have been it'd have probably took me 30 minutes to get to the other area, with the torpedo on high. Mm-hmm. But farther into that, I would have came out of that long creek that I was in and went into another long creek into the back of that I've been to before. But that was my only game plan.
Gotcha.
I've never during a tournament packed up and loaded up on the truck and went somewhere else.
Yeah.
I just always either just try to make the best of what I had.
Well, I think, and for you definitely, because you normally you go somewhere, you put up numbers. I mean, you are a factor to be worried about when we fish a tournament. You know what I mean? I mean, it's always been like that. You're just a well-rounded angler, and I know when we go somewhere and fish, like, I'm like, if we're all staying in the house, I'm like, all right, I wonder what James has got. I wonder what Craig's got. I wonder what Robert's got. And I bet you Jason's slaying them. Like that's what goes through my mind. I bet you Jason's slaying them, and I'm always looking. And that's one thing I do commend you on. You're never really a sandbagger. You know what I mean? You catch them, you put them up there because your family's watching, and you're wanting to show. Yeah. So I've always appreciated
as long as I've been doing, even when I first started getting into kayak fishing in 2018 and started doing the online tournaments and stuff, I've always posted the fish as soon as I caught them. I've never held a fish.
Yeah.
And waited till the last day of the month or whatever, or in a Bassmaster tournament or anything like that, KBF tournaments, have I waited to post my fish at the end of the day. I've always done it as soon as I've caught them.
Yeah. Well, it's just fun too when you do it to kind of see, all right, this is what I got. This is where I'm at on the board right now with what I got.
Right. And I'm also in the habit too where I won't look at the leaderboard. Yeah. I'll post my fish and I'll wait till I get my fifth one before I look.
Yeah.
And then I can see kind of where I'm at.
See, I say I want to do that and I never can.
Right. It's tough. It's tough.
Especially
it's not every time, but that's what I try to do.
Yeah. Especially when you're not catching them. Like I want to see if everybody else is struggling. If because if everybody else is struggling, or if it's like a lot of numbers of no one on there, I'm like, all right, well, I need to slow down. I need to be throwing a shaky hit or jig or something, trying to get these bigger bites and just go that route. But, if they're hammering them, or me, I'm like, oh, man, I'm doing pretty good. I got a limit of 16s or 17s. Let me check, see where I'm at. And then you look and you're like, God dang, like these dudes are really hammering them. Like, I need to step it up, But I use it as a gauge. But a lot of times I try to wait till about lunchtime just to see where I'm at. You know what I mean? But there's time.
You can check it and it'll start playing mind games with you, and you might, make a bad decision on baits or something, or you're like thinking, hey, I need to move areas, or
it
can be a factor.
And what's real bad about it is it could be like this in the bass boat side too, but the bass boat side is a little different because you can make those runs. You know what I mean? But like in the kayaking side, let's say you put in somewhere and you see, I'm just going to name like Christine Fisher, somebody or Russ Snyder's or Drew Gregory somewhere. You know what I mean? And then you go fish a tournament. You know, that was during practice. And then you go fish a tournament and then they put up big numbers and you're like, oh crap, were they there? You know, because I fished that same spot and I sucked. Is that even where they're at? You know, like, and I'm not the one, I don't want to go and like, if I know they're there and they put up big numbers, I'm not the type of person I want to move in on them and start trying to catch it. I don't play that game.
Yeah, I've never done that.
Yeah. So, but it's in the back of your mind though, because you're like, crap, should I stay there? You know, and they might not even be in that spot. They might have found something else different, but that's just where you ran into them at practice, you know? So it's always that thought. The same thing happened with me at Pickwick, man, when I had a decent finish down there. I think I finished 9th or something like that. And I really needed that to even qualify for the Classic. Like I was on the bubble. I really needed a good finish and made it happen. But I was in a spot that Guillermo and all them were, and he won that tournament there. But I could not get nothing going. So the 2 days I fished a marina and just flat out caught them. But when I'm looking at the stuff, I'm like, man, should I have fished up there? You know, if I would have maybe played that game in the first day and would have said, well, heck with this spot, I'm going to go up there and fish, you know, because he's catching them up there. I might not have done as good because what he's throwing might have been totally different, you know? So, but like you say, the leaderboard thing can screw you up. It can mind frig you quick, and it make you do something that you shouldn't do, you know, because what you're on, like you say, what you were doing, it worked. You know what I mean? You could have changed up and it's like, this ain't good enough, you know? And it was. You just got to be patient with it and let it all play out. So, yeah, I'm the same way. It's a struggle, man. But like I say, I check it more than I should. And then the rest of the day, I'm like, I wish I'd never checked that.
Right.
Look at
Yeah, especially if you got a big one and, you know, you got big fish, so you're just constantly, you know, that's money. So you're just sitting there checking and to see if it holds up.
Yeah. And you know, and a lot of times when I'm trying to check that is when I'm making that cast out, or, you know, you got a Carolina rig, for instance, you're just dragging and you're checking. You could lose a fish over something stupid like that. You know what I mean? Not being ready. Yeah. So I try to make myself, if I'm traveling from one spot to another where I'm going to trolling motor for a little bit, just pull it up, you know. But I am like that though. If I'm dragging something or so, I'm like ADD or something, ADHD or something. I don't know, because like I can get bored, you know, and I'm just like, I got to do something else while I'm dragging this or something. But yeah, no, the leaderboard is definitely. Sometimes I wish they had it where you couldn't even check it. You know, like nobody knew nothing. It's fun for the family and it's fun for the friends that are watching. Right. It's good. You know, you can see if they had it where you can just see that, hey, your post was submitted and accepted. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, outside people and other can see the actual standings. That, you know, that would be good. Yeah. But, yeah. That like Bassmasters, for instance, if you watch when they got on the water, you know, MLF knows. But like Bassmasters, they don't know until the end of the day when they get back and they check their phone. You know, they don't know where the heck they're at on bass tracks, you know, so because they can't pull that stuff up while they're on the water. But, you know, me and you, we can watch it all day and be like, oh man, Gerald Swindle's really catching them today. You know, like I wish it was like that where you could not pull it up on your phone. That way you could take the whole thing of no one needs to be on their phone except for submitting pictures, you know? So, but anyways, there's a lot of rules that might work, might not work, you know, some are hard to enforce. So, but so what's, we talked about the schedule earlier, Jason, and we talked about, you know, you got your big win and, what's coming up for Jason 2023? Are you gonna, I know you didn't get as much fishing in this year as you like. I know we got, me and you both, we got kids. We got sports and family events and not a lot of vacation. So what's coming up for 2024 for Jason? What's your plans this coming up here? It looks like it's going to be a repeat of this year. Hopefully make a couple of those Bassmaster Kayak Series events and maybe
try to fish a couple, local events. Hopefully make the battle on the border again next year. And if there's some other local tournaments, Bugs Island or Gaston or Smith Mountain Lake, I believe Queen City. I think they did post a tournament for next year that's going to be on Smith Mountain Lake. They're out, yeah.
They're in South Carolina, aren't they? Ain't they?
They're out of North Carolina, yeah.
North Carolina, okay.
But yeah, I'm looking at those, and hopefully it'll all work date wise. But yeah, it's if there's family stuff, that's where I'm going to be at.
Is that the one you shared with me the other day that was on Smith Mountain Lake?
No, that was the Virginia, the state, the Bass Nation Championship.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think that's.
I'm not going to be able to make that one.
Yeah, I'm not either. I won't be able to do that. Hunting season's coming in, man, and my son, he is gung ho about hunting season, and so I know that I'm going to be sitting in the stand a lot. A lot of my fishing is going to be during a weekday when we're doing filming or something. I just won't be able to get in a tournament, so which is fine. I enjoy sitting in the stand with my son. So
yeah, we'll have to get together and go out somewhere in the boat.
Yeah.
Before it gets really, really cold.
Well, we need to go down and hit Gaston or something, just catch some spots, Or I tell you what. So I don't know if any of our listeners watched. Me and James did a 1-versus-1 down on the Roanoke River, and down there in North Carolina part, below Roanoke Rapids, all that, and that's in the same general area that the MLF is supposed to be coming to next year down there. And I'm gonna tell you what, dude, the fishing is insane. Everything looks good. I mean, you got to run to get to these little sloughs and all that, but once you get in them, it's just I wish I would have figured out some things earlier. It might have caught a lot more fish, but I mean, I caught a lot of fish that day. James caught some fish that day. Just, it was a little tough to find that big bite. But if you look at the results of that body of water, there's been 30-pound bags weighed in. Several 30-pound bags weighed in. I mean, there's a lot of 8s that are pulled out of that body of water down there. And it is just, and you can see why. I mean, there's a lot of places that they can get where no one's ever going to touch them. It's just such a great fishery. And a lot of the little sloughs I was in, I mean, it don't look like no one's back there. I mean, you might get a fisherman here and there back in there, but there's no houses. You don't see all that in those areas where we're at. So
what was the watercolor like on the river?
So the main part of the Roanoke River was dirty. As soon as you turned and got in those sloughs, it turned into that, James calls it tea color, like that blackish looking water,
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah. It kind of reminded me of something like Louisiana. That's about what I compare it to, or Florida, something like that. I don't know if you've had a chance to fish Florida, but I know you fish Louisiana. And that's what it was very comparable to me, that kind of water. Cypress trees everywhere. It's really shallow though. I mean, it's a really shallow body of water. But you get out in the main part where they dredge it, I guess, for the barges and stuff that come up through there, or used to come through there. I don't know, but that stuff's deep. And you can get off from the bank and get into really shallow water, and then, I mean, be in shallow water and get into really deep water real quick too. But yeah, we need to get together. I want you to come down. I want to do a night tournament with you, man. Especially April and May, end of April, first part of May, when the shad spawn is insane. It's a freaking blast. And I mean, I've had several good runnings at a check, or finishing really well in the night tournaments. Just can never get that one big key bite at the end to finish it off. So, or if you do get the big bite, somebody just gets a little bit bigger one,
Right.
That's how it goes. So, but no, I mean, I had a good time with the kids doing that this year. I like to fish it. Me and Chris.
Yeah, that was awesome. You were able to do that.
Yeah, man. It was a blast to be able to. I think my son loves bass fishing. Maybe not quite as much as I do, but he likes bass fishing. And my daughter, I think, is just a step ahead of him when it comes to the love of the sport, Yeah. Matthew likes going fast. So when we blast off at tournament time, that's him, man. He's like, dude, this is awesome. Boats were passing one another, this and that. And it's just fun for him. But then Alyssa, she's ready to get over that part because it's so wavy and bumpy. And she's like, let's get to the first dock and start fishing, So before I can get it settled down and get up here to troll mode, she's already yanking her rod out of the thing. She's ready to start making that first cast,
Yep.
So, but yeah, I'd like to get you down, do that, and do some filming, and maybe get out on Sandy or something, do some filming.
Yep.
Take a big boat and get back in there or something in them spots. So, but Jason, man, I appreciate you taking the time to come on tonight, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on.
Keep up your good work, man. And I'm really looking forward to see how things go for you for next year. And, hopefully, like I say, hopefully you can have time to fish some of these and maybe qualify for the Classic, depending on where that's going to be at, So,
yep.
I'd love for us to do another, like a trip like that. It's always fun when it's all of us in the house.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's always something going on.
What happens in the house stays in the house.
Hopefully it's just minus the tornadoes. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
That was probably the scariest.
That was a little too close.
Yeah.
That was a little too close.
When you could hear it on the other side of the ridge, that was just
that
was nuts. Yeah.
And then the sirens. Yeah.
That
was the first time hearing the tornado sirens, and that wasn't good.
Because you were there the first night, right? When we got there, and
oh yeah,
that's right. Because you did the video.
I was the first one in the house.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. And them things were going on. I remember we was out there playing pool that night, and all of a sudden we started hearing them go off, and we were like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah, it was 2 nights in a row.
Yeah, it was scary, man. It was some scary. And them guys were still out there pre-fishing on that day that tornado come through there. We knew, we just kind of stayed back and didn't go out because we knew the weather was going to get crappy. And God almighty.
Yeah, I wasn't going to take a chance that day and pre-fish. It just
no.
But
it was wild though, man. I mean, I've always been a storm buff. Like I love storms. That was another career that I wish I'd had the opportunity to do was storm chasing. And I've always wanted to see a tornado, like actually see it. If one's around here, it comes through, it's always rain wrapped. You can't ever see it, or it's in the hills. We never really got to see much until it was breaking up on the ridge line. But like you could hear it, and it was it's definitely crazy. It's definitely crazy, crazy sound. So I hopefully have not many of those this year coming up. So, but other than that, man, I had a good time fishing with you guys this year, and I had a good time, watching your progress as well and seeing how well you did on the trail. And I can't wait for you to get the opportunity, Jason, to be able to fish. I know you got kids and family and vacation, but I can't wait for you to have 1 year where you really push on whether this series or Hobie or whatever you do. Because I think you could be one of them ones in contention for AOI. Like your finishes are just that good.
Thank you.
And I got that much confidence that I think you would do that well. So
yeah, thank you. I just sooner or later, one of these years, I'm gonna be able to do it.
That's right. Well, once the kids are up and grown, and they ain't little forever, you know what I mean.
That's
so you gotta enjoy that time.
Take advantage of it now.
That's right. Yep. So
my son's a junior, and my daughter, she's in 7th grade. So
yeah.
Yep.
So they ain't got much longer. It's gonna be just like that, and they're out of the house. You know what I mean?
They're gonna blink and they'll be gone.
Yeah. Enjoy that moment. That's what I'm trying to do right now too. I'm right there with you, man. So, but like I say, I appreciate you coming on tonight. I had a good time talking with you, and like I say, I wish you the best in your endeavors next year. So
yeah, thanks, bud. You too. I appreciate y'all having me on.
Thank you, buddy. See you, man. Have a good one.
Take it easy.
See you. All right, guys. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed that. It's really fun talking with Jason. I know we've had Jason on a lot, but Jason's had a lot of success at what he's done. When Jason is in to fish a tournament, man, he's in it. You know what I mean? Like his mind is zeroed in. He's always thinking. He's always tinkering. Like when you watch, like when we're sitting there at night watching TV or just kind of rigging tackle, like he's tinkering. He's always messing with something, or you can tell he's always thinking. Like I've watched that man set his rods up before and just kind of just stare at him, and think about what he needs to make changes on, or if he should change something else or what. So I've always enjoyed just watching the different mindsets of different anglers when you travel with these guys and seeing how their thought process is and what needs to be done. I mean, I think I like to say that I'm a good angler, a decent angler. I want to say good angler. I think I do pretty decent. But when you stay with some of these other guys that can really hammer them, you know what I mean? Like, and watch what they do and what makes them different than others. That's something I've always enjoyed. Like I look at a lot of the top guys on the kayak series, and Russ Snyder's and Christine Fisher and Eric Siddiqui and Drew Gregory, all these guys, and just really look at what they do different compared to everybody else, and what makes them great. And it's mind blowing, man. Cause I mean, this is a very tough sport. The failure rate is probably the highest in any other sport in the world. Really. I mean, you think about it. I mean, it's not many people that are going to go out and win every tournament. Russ Snyder, he's a different monster. I mean, that guy, he's up there consistently. So is Drew Gregory. But most of the times, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to win it. You got to have that right situation. It's going to line up perfect for you, the right condition. You hit that right spot at the right time, because these fish will change with their feeding. I mean, sometimes on points, they'll start coming up at this time, and then they'll come up at this time. And if you hit between those times, it's easily to miss. I've seen it happen on points before, where there'll be schooling. I didn't get to it yet because you're in a kayak and you're watching, and you see them pull up, and then they'll go down. And I watched the bass boat come up, fish for a little bit, and then leave. And then right after they left, they come up again, start busting, So it's timing and luck and to make those right decisions. So, but anyways, really appreciate having Jason on. Always good to talk to. So anyways, I think that's basically about it. We're going to cover for tonight. So we're setting up the next show. I'm actually in talks with JT Tompkins now. He won the AOI on the Bassmaster Open Series. He qualified for the Elite Series. This guy he's cashed checks in every event but one. So, I mean, that dude's on him. You know what I mean? He knows how to catch them. So, I'd like to work in a few of these other guys and talk with them over the next several weeks, and just see what's involved with even after you qualify. What's next? What's the next objective when it comes to, lining up sponsorships? If you already have sponsorships, how do you bring this on the table for your sponsors to put out more for next year, or if they can, or if you got to line up other things? So I want to kind of get into the business side of it as well with these guys and see, what's next on the table. So, but other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed the show. If you do, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I know these ain't live right now. Reason is I'm fighting with my internet. I'm hoping to have a new box here soon, so we won't be losing me, which actually tonight was surprising. It never happened. So I'm hoping that maybe we can do this JT Tompkins show live back on Facebook and YouTube. So that's the goal. We're trying to get back to that. So hopefully we will. But other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed the show. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If you're listening on iTunes or any other platform that allows you to give a rating, hey, if you can, give us a 5-star and write in the comments below. That really helps push our show up there and keep pushing it up towards the top there. So, but other than that, I'll talk to you later. See you guys.